Om Shri Mahagणपतये Namaha. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Atha Shriman Narayaneeyam. Dashaka 87. Krishna's friend Kuchela. कुचेलनामा भवतः सतीर्थ्यतां गतः स सान्दीपनिमन्दिरे द्विजः त्वदेकरागेण धनादिनिःस्पृहो दिनानि निन्ये प्रशमी गृहाश्रमी. This Dasakam is composed in the Vamshastha meter, in which the verses have 12 syllables in each quarter. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Sandipani mandire bhavataha satirtyatam gataha prashami grihashrami Kuchela nama. Your friend with the name Kuchela, who was your classmate in the abode of Sandipani sage, and who was very self-controlled and who was a householder. Saha dvijaha twadeka ragena dhanadi nisprihaha dinani ninye. That Brahmana, without any desire towards riches and other things, and with his heart solely attached to you, spent his days. Describing Kuchela, the Bhagavatam says, Krishnasyasit Saka Kaschit Brahmano Brahmavittamaha Virakta Indriyarteshu Prashantatma Jitendriyaha. Bhagavata Puranam, 10th Skanda, 80th Adhyaya, 6th verse, which means there was a Brahmana friend of Krishna who was a Brahmagyani, who was detached from sensory pleasures, who had a calm mind and who was very self-controlled. He was a householder, but he did not accumulate any riches and was content with whatever little that he had. Samanashīlāpi tadīyavallabhā tataiva no chittajayam sameyushi kadāchiduche bhatavritti labdhaye ramāpati kim na sakha nishevyate. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Samana Shilapi Tadiya Vallabha Tata Eva Chitta Jayam No Sameyushi. Though Kuchela's wife was pious like him, she did not conquer her mind like Kuchela. Bata Vritti Labdhaye Saka Ramapatihi Kim na Nishebyate Kadachid Uche. Once she said, Alas, why don't you approach your friend Ramapati Vishnu, the Lord of riches, for getting our livelihood? According to the Bhagavatam, the devoted wife of Kuchela once approached him. She had a withered face and was afflicted with poverty. She said, O Bhagavan, your friend Vishnu is indeed the Lord of riches. He is also kind to his devotees. Approach him in Dwaraka. He will give plenty of wealth to you who are a suffering householder. Iti ritoyam priyaya kshudartaya jugupsamanopi dhane madavahe tada tvadalokana kautukadhyayau vahan patante pritukanupayanam. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Kshudartaya priyaya itiritaha ayam. When Kuchela was thus told by his wife, who was afflicted with hunger, Madavahe dhane jugupsamanaha api. Though he was averse to riches which lead to desires, tada tvad alokana kautukat. Then, as he was eager to see you, patante upayanam prutukan vahan yayau. He went carrying some flattened rice at the corner of his cloth as a gift to you. According to the Bhagavatam, when Kuchela's wife again and again politely requested Kuchela to seek help from Krishna, he thought that it was an opportunity for him to meet Krishna and decided to meet him. He said, "Oh dear, is there anything in the home which can be given as a gift to Krishna? If so, give it to me." Then the wife got 4 handfuls of flattened rice from her neighbors, wrapped it in a piece of cloth, and gave it to Kuchela as a present to Krishna. Gatoyamascharyamayim bhavatpurim griheshu shaibya bhavanam sameyivan pravishya vaikuntamivapa tavati sambhavanayatu kim punaha. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, I am Ascharyamayim Bhavatpurim Gataha. Kuchela, reaching your wonderful city. Griheshu Shaibya Bhavanam Sameyivan. Among the many palaces in Dwaraka, he reached the palace of Shaibya or Mitravinda. Vaikuntam Pravishya Iva Nirvritim Avapa. He got immense happiness as though he had reached the Vaikunta. Tava ati sambhavanayatu kim punaha. What to say about the great joy he derived by your honor to him? According to the Bhagavatam, Kuchela reached Dwaraka and entered one of the many palaces of Krishna's queens. In that palace, Krishna was seated along with Rukmini Devi. As soon as Krishna saw his friend, he got up and embraced him. Krishna was very happy to see Kuchela and shed tears of joy. Then Krishna seated Kuchela on his royal sofa and worshipped him respectfully. He washed Kuchela's feet with his hands and sprinkled that water on his head. Then he applied sandal paste, aguru and kesara on Kuchela's body. Then joyfully Krishna performed the arati or the waving of incense fumes and lamps in front of Kuchela. Thus Krishna extended a very warm welcome to his friend. Prapujitam tam priyaya cha vijitam kare grihitva kataya purakritam yadindanartam gurudara choditai rapartu varsham tadamarshikanane. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Prapujitam priyaya vijitam cha tam kare grihitva. Holding Kuchela by his hand, Kuchela, who was well worshipped and who was fanned by your beloved queen, Indanartham, Gurudara choditaihi kanane apartu varsham amarshi yat tat purakritam akatayaha. You told that old happening in which both of you had to face an unseasonal rain when you both went to the forest to bring fuel when asked for it by the Guru Patni. According to the Bhagavatam, Krishna and his Brahmana friend held the hands of one another and remembered joyfully many old happenings in their Gurukula days. Once their Guru Patni sent Krishna and Kuchela both to the forest to fetch fuel. It was a vast jungle, and all of a sudden there was a whirlwind and heavy rains. The sun had set, and it was pitch dark everywhere. The earth was filled with water, and it was difficult to find a place without water. Krishna and Kuchela were very troubled and moved about in the forest holding each other's hand. When sage Sandipani came to know about their going to the forest, he came searching for them at sunrise. The preceptor said, "O my dear students, I am very pleased with you. Let all your wishes get fulfilled. Let the Vedas you studied be in the tip of your tongue. Let all your studies be fruitful in this world and in the next world." Trapajushosmat pritykam baladata pragृह्य मुष्टौ sakridashite tvaya kritam kritam nanviyateti sambhramat rama kilopetya rurodhate. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Atha trapajushaha asmat tvaya balat pritikam pragrihya. Then taking the flattened rice forcibly from Kuchela, who was feeling shy to give it to you. Mushtau sakrit ashite, and when you ate a handful of that rice once, Rama Sambramat Upetya, Rukmini Devi came to you with alarm. Iyata kritam nanu kritam iti te karam rurodha kila. She stopped you from eating more. She said, "This indeed is enough." According to the Bhagavatam, Krishna told Kuchela, "O Brahman, what present have you brought for me from your home? Whatever my dear devotees give to me with love, it is very precious to me." Krishna further said, "Patram pushpam palam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupakritam ashnami prayatatmanaha." Bhagavata Puranam, 10th Skanda, 81st Adhyaya, 4th verse, which means, whoever devotedly gives me a leaf or a flower or a little water, I consume the offering of that self-controlled devotee with great happiness. Kuchela felt shy to offer his small gift of rice to the great Krishna and cast his face down. The omniscient Bhagavan Krishna knew the reason for Kuchela's coming to him. Krishna thought, "He is my dear friend. He was never attached to me for the sake of wealth. He has come to me to please his dear wife. Now I will make him very prosperous. So thinking, he snatched the pouch of rice from the cloth of Kuchela. Lovingly, he told Kuchela, "Dear friend, you have brought a very dear gift to me. This rice is enough to please me and the entire world." So saying, he ate a handful of that rice, and when he took the second handful, Rukmini, who was an incarnation of goddess Lakshmi, caught hold of his hand and stopped him. She said, "O Lord of the universe, it is enough. For a man to get prosperity in this world and in the next world, one handful of rice is enough, because you become pleased with this much offering." Bhakteshu bhaktena samanitastvaya purim vasanneka mahasukam Bhattaparedyurdravinam vinayayau vichitrarupastava kalvanugraha. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Bhakteshu bhaktena tvaya. By you, who are a devotee of your devotees. Manitaha saha, Kuchela, honored by you. Ekanisham mahasukam purim vasan, staying very comfortably in your city for a night. Aparedyuhu dravinam vina yayau, the next day he went away without any money. Bata tava anugrahaha vichitra rupaha kalu. Oh, your grace is indeed strange. According to the Bhagavatam, Kuchela spent the night in the palace of Krishna. He very happily had good food and felt that he was in the Vaikuntha Loka. Krishna did not offer him any money, and Kuchela did not ask anything from him. Bathing in the joy of his meeting with Krishna, Kuchela left for his home the next day. Yedi hyachachishyamadasya dachyuto vadami bharyan kimiti vrajannasau twadukti lila smitamagnadi punaha kramada pashyanmanidi pramalayam. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Ayachishyam yedi hi achyutaha adasyat. If I had asked for money, surely Achyuta Krishna would have given it to me. Bharyam kim vadami iti asau. What shall I tell my wife now? Thus thinking, Twadukti Leela Smita Magnadihi, Kuchela, engrossed in the happy thoughts about your beautiful smile and sayings, Vrajan Kramat Manidipram Alayam Apashyat. He gradually went and saw a mansion studded with gems. According to the Bhagavatam, Kuchela approached the vicinity of his home. He saw that there were many resplendent, rich palaces there. There were gardens full of colorful chirping birds. There were beautiful ponds full of blue, white, and fragrant lotuses. Seeing the place, Kuchela thought, "What am I seeing? Whose place is this? If it is the same place where I lived, how has it transformed thus?" Kim marga vibramshayiti brahmanchanam griham pravishtas sadadarsha vallabham Sakhi paritam manihema bhushitam Buboda chatvat karunam mahadbhutam. Addressing God Krishna, the poet says, Marga vibramshaha kim? Have I lost my way? Iti kshanam brahman. Thus wondering for a while. Griham pravishtaha saha. And then entering the home. Saki paritam manihema bhushitam vallabham dadarsha. Kuchela saw his wife surrounded by female attendants and adorned with gems and gold. Tvat karunam mahadbhutam buboda cha, and he became aware of your wonderful compassion. According to the Bhagavatam, when Kuchela approached his home, many well-dressed men and women came forward to welcome him with auspicious music. Hearing about his arrival, his bedecked wife came out of the home, and she appeared like the embodiment of goddess Lakshmi. Her eyes were moist with tears of joy, and she bowed to Kuchela. Together they entered the home, which was shining like the abode of Indra. Seeing all this great prosperity, Kuchela understood that the great Bhagavan Krishna had showered his grace on him. Saratnashala suvasannapi swayam samunnamad bhakti baromritam yayau tvameva mapurita bhakta vanchito marutpuradhisha harasvame gadan. In this concluding verse, the poet says, Sahaswayam Ratnashalasu Vasannapi, that Kuchela, though he lived in a bejeweled palace, Samunnamat Bhakti Baraha, with his devotion to you increasing, Amritam Yayau, he attained immortality. Evam Apurita Bhakta Vanchitaha, thus you who fulfilled the desire of your devotees, Tvam me gadan harasva, you please take away all my ailments. According to the Bhagavatam, Kuchela understood that the merciful Bhagavan Krishna had blessed him. Kuchela enjoyed the grace of the God without getting very much attached to worldly things. His devotion to the God increased day by day. Kuchela started meditating on the God, and all his attachments to the world vanished, and he very soon reached the abode of the God where only good people can reach.